10 seconds.
Is this where the damn drumming and the music kicks in?
Yeah.
What is going on, everybody? Hello and welcome to this week's episode of On the Pipe Podcast. I am your host, as always, Tyler Shepardson, and today is Tuesday, November the 15th, 2022, years after zero, and I'm glad that you are joining me today. I'm glad you are hanging out with me today because not only are we 1 week past when we let everybody know about our brand new race series? We're going racing. OTP is going racing in 2022. The Bite GP series. Not only 1 week past that, this will be the last time that you ever hear my voice as a 20-something-year-old. That is right. Right now it is 9:30. I'm 2.5 hours away from being a vet rider in the vet class. And I would say I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I know how I feel about it. I'm not pumped about it. So here we are. We're out here. We're doing a show 2.5 hours away from my 30th birthday. So thank you guys so much for being here. I literally just walked in the door like right before 9 o'clock. Tried to get everything ready, up and going. So to stream on YouTube and to stream here on Twitch is two different things. And so it's a little bit tough. And the other software is a lot harder to use than it is to use this Twitch software. So I keep trying to make the YouTube software perfect. I can't get it perfect. That's why last week we went to do it just to I figured more people would watch on YouTube. More people have access to YouTube. And that's why with the big announcement, with Up to Something season coming to an end, that's why we put that one on YouTube last week. And it was a pretty simple process. But in order to do anything else and to make things look right, it's way easier to use this software here on Twitch. And I think I've explained that before in the show, but that is why we're here. I scrapped everything when I couldn't figure it out, and we went back to Twitch. So, hello, thank you, welcome for joining me. If you're watching live on Twitch right now, if you're listening to this afterwards, hey, appreciate you. Thanks for being here. As always, you can catch us live. I'm going to try to do every show, like I said, going forward on video. Whether it's Twitch, hopefully we can get everything figured out and I can stop being dumb and we can get it over to YouTube. But either way, this is how the show is going to be. We're going to be able to watch it live so that way we can talk, interact. You guys can shoot some comments, ask some questions, and then it will be available, as always, in the audio section afterwards. So it's weird. It's weird saying that. It's weird starting the show off saying this is the last show I'll ever do as a 20-something-year-old. 2.5 hours away from being 30, and I'm not that pumped about it. But no, so we got, I would say, a lot to talk about, but there's really not a whole lot to talk about in the terms of racing as it is about on the national standpoint or the pro standpoint. We have fully began the off season, so we are smack dab in the middle of the off season. There's a lot of people that probably aren't going to touch a dirt bike for a few weeks at least. There's a lot of people that are getting brand new dirt bikes. They have to get figured out, dialed in, and completely changing the whole program over the next few weeks. There are riders that are doing the same thing as usual. They're still riding and training just as hard. There's riders that are on vacation. But nevertheless, there's not a whole lot of racing going on. There's not a whole lot of racing that's going to happen until February, maybe late January, if you will. So yeah. But that being said, last week we dropped a bombshell of an announcement. We finally let you guys know what I've been up to. It's been a year and a half-ish that I've been up to something, and now you all know that what I was up to is a brand new race series, a brand new GP series. And the way that you can kind of think about it, and I've gotten a lot of questions about it, but the way you can kind of think about it is a mix between a mini hare scramble and a J-Day in the South. And J-Day's done a really good job. They have laid the blueprint for this GP series. They're wildly successful up in the Northeast. I think everybody that rides a dirt bike at one point has said that they want to make it up to a J-Day. So hopefully we can bring a little bit of that down south, and hopefully we can get that thing going. But like I said, we're going to throw some couple twists in it. We're going to make it our own. I think bringing something like that to the mid-south region, I think, can be very beneficial with all the riders and everything that are down here. So we hope to bring something different as well to make it fun and to make it to where everyone wants to go ride it and everyone wants to go race them. And it's just going to be a really fun atmosphere. We're going to do a lot of different things, and it's going to be really cool. So I've gotten a lot of questions. If you have any questions about the race series or any questions about Bike GP, that's the best name I could come up with. We're going to find out who the best in the East is. That's what the BITE stands for. So if you didn't listen to the show yet, but you saw the Instagram pop up, BITE Grand Prix, and wondered what in the world is BITE, it's the best in the East, because we're going to find out who is the best in the East. And in order to be the best in the East, you're going to have to be a beast in the East. Either way, we're biting out of the competition. We're biting out of the rest of the line that we're going to be racing in. We're going to have kids classes. We're going to have women's classes. We're going to have pro classes. We're going to have stuff for the spectators to do. We're going to have a fun pit environment. It's going to be pretty fun. But I did say we'll go ahead and get straight into the dates. And like I said, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them right here in the comments on this Twitch stream. I've had a ton of messages of people asking questions. I don't have all the locations dialed in yet. I will tell you that we are, this first year, I would say we're not going any higher than Virginia, possibly West Virginia. And we're not going to go any farther south, most likely, than Georgia. And we're not going to go any farther west than possibly West Carolina, maybe over the line into Tennessee. So we're gonna remain relatively local to this greater Carolina region within a few hours of the. Right now is AMA. That's a loaded question. We're working with them. We're talking with them. We're trying to figure out what makes the most sense for the series, what makes the most sense for the riders, and all that. So the people that are concerned with AMA, I'll just throw it out there. What's your reasoning? What's your pros and cons as a rider about being an AMA series? Maybe you can shoot that to us in a message. So here we go. We are 214 days away from going racing. I'll go ahead and let you know that right now. 214 days sounds like a lot of time, but I feel like that time is going to fly past. I feel like 214 days right now, that's 30 and a half weeks away. That is 7 months away. 214 days away from going racing at the Bike GP series presented right here by On the Pipe Podcast. But like I said, I feel like that time's going to creep right up on us, but I'll go ahead and get into the dates. But before I get into the dates, let's pay some bills. Beta Motorcycles is the official manufacturer, as you all know, of On the Pipe Podcast. Beta Motorcycles has been family-owned and operated since 1905. They manufacture the finest enduro, trials, and dual sport motorcycles that are known for their premium quality and rideability. Beta Motorcycles are the best looking bikes on the market, and they back it up with their superior performance. Head on over to betausa.com for more information on their available models and to find a dealer near you to get yours today. We've talked a lot about Beta throughout this year. We were very stoked that Beta got on board with us throughout this year. I'm very excited to start riding my Beta and getting ready for the Vet B class next year. Now that I'm where are we at? It's 9:40. So now that I'm 2 hours and 20 minutes away from turning 30 years old, the training for the vet classes starts tomorrow. Maybe I'll try to ride tomorrow. But I'll be doing it on my Beta motorcycle. And hopefully we'll see some Beta motorcycles around the Bike GP series as well. And maybe even get some opportunities for you to ride a Beta motorcycle around a Bike GP track. That'll be pretty cool. This episode is also brought to you in part by Zach Tussle at Raymond James Financial. Zach is a racer and a financial advisor that helps his clients win when it comes to retirement and financial planning. If you or someone you know wants to save money or invest for their future or is already retired and needs advice for income during retirement, Zach Tussle is always my first recommendation. Find out more by Googling Zach Tussle or on their website at financialadvisorsdenvernc.com. You can also look him up on social media. I know I say that every week. If you search for Zach Tussle, just shoot him a DM. He'll get you dialed in, let you know what you need to do, and how he can help you out. But I highly, 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 highly suggest, even more so, if you're an 18-year-old kid, you just graduated high school, you got life right by the Conigis, the cojones, however you want to say it, right now is the time to start. You don't think about when you're 59 and a half, when you're 18 years old, but trust me, if you start thinking about it now, when you turn 59 and a half, it's going to be easy street. You're going to be traveling the world, doing whatever you want to do. And if you are past that 18-year-old point, maybe you're 2.5 hours away from turning 30. It is never too late to start, but the best time to start was yesterday. Get a hold of Zach. He'll let you know exactly what's going on and how he can help you out and what you can look forward to. Now that we got that going on, let's check. We got some chats going on here. What up, Tyler? We have met before. It's been a while, though. What's up, Bentley, man? How's it going? I think it has a new GTR complex. So, yeah, they're definitely going to be one that we're talking about. It was Palmetto, and then it was Motivate. Was it something before Motivate? I think it was Palmetto and then Motivated. And there might have been something in between Palmetto and Motivated. But then it was GTR. And now I don't even know what it's called, but that is definitely a place that I'm going to look into right down there in Columbia, right outside of Columbia, South Carolina, Gaston, South Carolina, a sand place. We got an eye on it. Thanks for the happy early birthday. Appreciate that. Wish you were coming to the Ohio, Indiana area. Carolina is a haul for us. So let me go ahead and address that. This little podcast that we started on a whim with me and my buddy Devin Byram, this little podcast has now grown into not so little of a podcast. It is insane how many people listen to this thing. It is insane the reach that we have, the spread that we have, not only just in the States, but also internationally. Like I send out reports to my sponsors and stuff each month, and it's always 20, 30 countries that we're downloaded in. We have a pretty big reach as far as the States go. Sorry, I felt myself about to sneeze. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But like we have a lot of people that listen in the North. Like I think one of my top 5 states is Illinois, and we have a lot of people in Indiana. We have a lot of people in Pennsylvania. We have a lot of people in California. We have a lot of people, of course, in the Carolinas. That's our stomping ground down here. But one of the questions I get the most, and I've had a lot of people reach out about properties, which for one, I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thanks for thinking of me. Thanks for offering properties, suggesting properties. I will say, there's a lot of thought that goes into this whole race series thing. There's a lot of stuff that has to be done. There's a lot of planning. There's a lot of anticipation. And I got to see a lot of this being in the position I was at with the Full Gas Sprint Enduro Series with Jason Hooper and watching him grow that into what it was, and then seeing what happened when we ventured into Ohio, when we ventured into Indiana, when we ventured into Pennsylvania. And I think for me, the way that I am targeting this thing is I have huge plans for this race series. If you know me, if you've listened to any of these podcasts, then you know that what a passion project this is for me. I am not starting a race series to get rich. Let me go ahead and put that out there. I am not starting a race series so I can just put as much of your money in my pocket as possible. I'm starting a race series because of all the things that we've talked about on this podcast, all the things that I disagree with about other series, whether it's any series, a national series, a regional series, a local series. I think there's a lot of room for improvement. I think there's a lot of improvement in rider payouts. I think there's a lot of improvements to be made in exposure and marketing and how races are presented to people and how people are treated at races and what you win at races, what you can earn at races. And so it's easy to sit behind a microphone and say all these things, but this is going to be a really big, risk. I guess that's the way to put it. It's going to be a big risk because if this fails, it's not going to be good. just from the little bit of buzz that I've heard and the buzz about the show and about making this announcement and stuff, I don't know. I feel like I'm risking a lot from the industry side of things by going out on my own, especially once more and more details start to roll out and you find out what our plans are. This is going to be a rider-focused series. My ultimate goal, I hope that maybe we can get some sponsorship money, and that'll help keep me from getting another day job. And then the money raised at the races goes back to the riders. That's my ultimate goal. It gives back to not only the pro riders, but the amateur riders alike. This is a series that is going to be for the riders. This is a series that is going to be a rider advocate. And I hope that trickles down into the rest of the series. And I hope that we can make a dent in the industry by doing things that the way that we're doing it. So that is why this little podcast that is expanded into what it is, it's why I ask that everyone just give me an opportunity. I'd love to have your support, especially with this race series. I hope you can come out and race. If you can't race, then I hope you can come out and watch it. But back to the original question, you guys know how I get on these tangents. What we're going to have to do is we have a hotbed of riders in this greater Carolina area. You look at the North Carolina series here. You look at the Mid-East Hare Scrambles, which is a local series that is now like it has huge numbers for a local season. For a local series. I'm talking like 1,000 people in a weekend. And for a local series, that is insane. The Full Gas Sprint Enduro series is, it was started in North Carolina. The current owner, Josh Koscheck, lives in North Carolina. A lot of the races are in this Carolina area. Right up north, we got the VXCS. Josh Deal running that series, doing a great job with it. There's also another Virginia series, the VCHSS. There's a Sork series in Georgia. There's a Citra series. It's like South Carolina and Georgia. There's FTR down in Florida. And if I'm missing some, I apologize, but that's just how many series that there is. That's how many riders that there are. And so this is just such a hot spot of riders and so many people that are in this area. And that is why, to start things off, we're going to have to stay relatively local. There are riders in this area, so I hope that we can see this new format and people come out and try it out. And as the following expands, then our footprint can expand as well. Right now, if you go to the first National Enduro is in Texas. GNCC goes from Indiana to Pennsylvania to Ohio to North Carolina to South Carolina, Georgia, Florida. The reason people from Florida drive to Pennsylvania and the people from Indiana drive to North Carolina is because GNCC has spent years developing this thing and turning it into the giant conglomerate that they are. Like, off-road pro contracts get signed for GNCC. Hey, we're paying you to race GNCC. You can choose the second series that you want to race. But we're paying you to race GNCC because that's where the eyeballs are at. That's where the attention is at. People drive those distances because of that, because of the prestige, because of what it means to be a GNCC national champion. We're starting things out, and I think we're going to make a very big splash. And I got a lot of important people that are in some very key places, and I hope that we can get some sponsors on board that can see this vision as well and can see where we're really coming from and can see that we're doing this thing for the right reasons. But that being said, we're going to have to cater to this market. I'm going to have to stay within a few hours of North Carolina to start things off because we're getting people to commit to a brand new race series. And this year, we're only doing 5 rounds. For the same exact reasons that I'm explaining right now. We're only doing 5 rounds because we haven't given anybody a reason to commit to 8 rounds, to 10 rounds, to 12 rounds. We haven't given anybody a reason to do that. So we're going to start things off with 5 rounds. So that way you can still fit it in your schedule. You can try it out. And we're going to keep things relatively local. So that way someone in South Carolina can still make the drive to Virginia. Someone in Virginia can still make the drive to West North Carolina. And kind of that. And then once the series kind of speaks for itself, once we get off and rolling, once people get boots on the ground and they get to experience the race series, hopefully then we will give people a reason to follow that series. My goal is if you come run one race, you're going to want to run every other race that we have. And so that is the goal. I'm asking everyone to come give it a shot, and then from there it's up to me to keep you coming back. And once we do that and we can build up a following, and look at the Full Gas family, the way that the Full Gas family grew, and talking about Hooper's Full Gas in this one. But to see it grow and to see the same people every single weekend. It didn't draw the biggest numbers. It wasn't the biggest race series in the country, but it was the tightest knit group of racers that there was. And then that kind of got split, and then it turned into what it was. And you can't really, I'm not going to go into that whole thing, but that is the core of what I'm trying to create. Full Gas was a family, and that's what I want to build back with the Bite GP series, to find out who the best in the East is. And that's what I hope to do. So as the series grows and as people come on board with it and it grows some prestige, trust me, we're setting, I don't know how much of my details to give away. We're going to have the highest pro payout that there is. And my goal, and this is going to depend on support that we get, but the goal is, out of the gate, we're going to be the highest paying series that there is. That's my plan. That's my goal. As the series continues to grow, I have a plan in place for the pro purse to start growing as well. So if we have a huge show out at round 1, then guess what? Round 2, the payout's going to be even higher. And now if you're a B-class rider, a C-class rider, an A-class rider, you say, I don't care about the pro payouts. What does the pro payouts matter? Here's why the pro payouts matter. Because if we're paying that amount, then that's going to draw the pros in, because 2 reasons. 1, all the pros, factory guys, whatever, they hear that money that's given out, they're going to want to come race. If they don't want to come race and they're skeptical and they see who wins that big money and they say, they just won that much money, I beat them every weekend. Now they're going to come out because they saw who the competition was, and then they want that money. So the goal is to kind of grow it that way and get the pro riders coming. And then once you have all the top guys, and we got guys coming over from motocross. I have a once factory motocross rider that is still competing just on a private, or not a privateer team, but a satellite team in motocross and supercross, that's going to come out and race the Bite GP series. And I hope to pull for more of the local moto talent. One of my buddies helped me out. Robert Berry is a District 29 motocross little local legend around here. So we're going to tap into that moto market. And then it's really going to be a competition of who is the best in the East. And that could be a moto guy, that could be a woods guy. But that's going to drive the competition. So hopefully that front line, that pro class is going to be a battle week in and week out. And you're going to see people battling for that. And that's how it's going to benefit you guys, because the more people that we can get out there, the more that we're going to give back, the more that we're going to do for all the classes, and the cool battles that we're going to be able to see, and the prestige that's going to be built. Because once you got all the factory guys out there that are winning, you're not just winning some random series that just started this year. You're winning a race against the same guys that are racing on Sundays at GNCCs. You're winning a race against the same guys that are at National Enduro in the Pro 1 class, in the Pro 2 class. So you're winning a race against the same guys that are representing America in the ISDE. So that's how I think we can get the prestige of it out there. But I hope that we can get the rider support on an amateur level and a pro level. And I hope we can just have a lot of fun going racing. So that is where we're trying to capitalize on this thing. Completely lost my tangent of where I was going with this. So with that being said, we're just going to jump straight to the dates. Now, I put together this fun little thing. Let me scoot over here. For those that are listening at home, the dates are now on the screen. For those that are watching at home, this is a benefit. You got look, I can do my best Vanna White impersonation. Look at this. Ready? The Bite GP Series, BITE, Best in the East, the Beast in the East, the GP Series in 2023. We're kicking things off 214 days from now, 7 months, 30 and a half weeks from the day before my 30th birthday. We will be racing in, I don't have locations yet. We're gonna launch things out slowly. So right now we have our dates. We're gonna get locations coming at you next. So we're gonna start things off June 17th. From there, hold on, let me pull up. Did I just show you something I shouldn't show you? Okay. So we're gonna pull up the calendar here. June. Now I can't even see my dates. All right, so we're starting things off June 17th, 2023. I'm I'm so used to saying 2022. That is Father's Day weekend. So for those keeping track at home, that first day is Father's Day weekend. Our second race is going to be July the 15th, 2023. And then 2 weeks after that, July 29th, 2023. 2 weeks after that, August the 12th, 2023. And then we're going to end things off on Labor Day weekend. That is going to be September 2nd, 2023. Now, important things to note from these few things. One, we're racing on Saturdays. I think we mentioned that last week when we unveiled this whole thing. But all of these dates, you will notice, are Saturdays. It is the Saturday before Father's Day. It is the Saturday, July 15th. It is Saturday, July 29th. It is Saturday, August 12th. And it is the Saturday of Labor Day weekend, September 2nd, which is coincidentally my big sister's birthday. So, and apparently July 15th is Bentley's birthday, as he just let us know in the comments. So it's the birthday series. We're talking about the days the day before my birthday. We're racing on my sister's birthday. We're racing on Bentley's birthday. If this is anybody else's birthday, let me know. We're racing on your birthday too. So this is the way it's going to work. And the reason for Saturdays is, one, there are so many local series. We just mentioned them. We went through all the acronyms, all the different letters that are all the different race series. This will give you an opportunity to come race on Saturday and then go race your local series on Sunday. I'm trying to be the best I can, be as accommodating as possible with these dates, which is why I picked these ones that largely fall over the summertime. Our first opener on June 17th, Father's Day weekend, that is a Mid-East Hare Scramble weekend. I wanted to get 6 dates in. We got 5 dates in. I had to go over one of them. There's only so many weekends in the year. And when you got GNCC with 12 of them, you got National Enduro with 8 of them, and you got the Mid-East Hare Scrambles, which is right in our backyard, with 15 races. It's hard to squeeze in edgewise. And if you catch my slip up, you did hear me say that correctly. I did not mess up. If you're yelling at me through your speakers, Rivers Morris, I did not mistake. 12 GNCC rounds this year. I'm not going to go into details about it, but heard some things, seen some schedules. 12 GNCC rounds this year, 8 National Enduros. I think there's going to be 6 full gases. There are 5 bite GPs, 15 Mid-East Hare Scramble. There's only so many weekends in a year. There's 52 weekends in a year, so managed to avoid all of them. So this is not on a GNCC date. This is not on a National Enduro date, and one of them is on a Mid-East Hare Scramble date. That first one, June 17th, Father's Day weekend. But hey, look at the bright side. You can race here on Saturday, go right down the road to Mid-East and race with them on Sunday. So Bjorn has helped me out a ton with this. I'm the announcer at the Mid-East Hare Scramble Series, so they've helped me out a lot. So I didn't want him to think I'm stepping on his toes by any means, but we just had to fit one race in there. Now, we're going over the summer for the same exact reason. We're a little late to the game. We are mid-November. We are a week away from Thanksgiving. And so it's slim pickings. Dates are set. We got in our 5 races. The reason I went over summer is because that is the only time that nobody else is racing. That is the only time that we can get in and not avoid or not clash with your local series. That's the only way that we can play nice with everybody and give you the opportunity to come out and go racing with us and whoever else you already had plans of racing with. Also, there's nothing else going on in the summer, so it gives you an opportunity to stay fresh, to come out, get on the bike. It gives pros an opportunity to come out and win money when there's no other opportunities to come out and win money. But then also, the summer break is there for hare scrambles. I mean, you look at every local series, they're trying to copy GNCC. It's the same blueprint. They're running the same things, running the same races, the same type of places. They're doing all that stuff. This is not a 2-hour-long hare scramble. This is certainly not a 3-hour-long hare scramble. These are going to be probably 30-minute motos. I want to do a little bit more than 30 minutes, but for fuel consumption reasons, moto guys, we can make it to where they can still race it with a stock tank. So it's probably going to be 30-minute motos, which is what the outdoors does all throughout the heat of summer. So it's much easier to go out and ride for 30 minutes in the summer heat and then go back to your truck, cool off. Maybe we got some secrets and some tricks up our sleeve to help you cool off at the races. But gives you an opportunity to ride for 30 minutes and then go cool down for a while and then go ride for 30 minutes again. So you're not pushing 2 hours at one time through all that heat. You're not losing all that water. You get a chance to rehydrate. You get a chance to cool down. And that is why we're going to go over the summer dates, because it is going to be hot. It is most likely going to be dusty, but we're going to have water trucks. We're going to have prep tracks. We're going to have as prepped of woods as we can get to kind of mitigate the dust and keep it all down. It's going to be a fun race series. I'm going to tell you that right now. So, yeah, that is why we chose to go over those summer dates. So that way we can not interfere with everything else and we can still race, because when you're not having to account for 2 hours in the woods, it's a lot easier to go 30 minutes in the woods, chill out for a little bit, 30 more minutes in the woods. If you want to race multiple classes, then you can get more time. So we're going to have something for everybody. It's going to work out. I hope so. Got my fingers crossed. We got some big plans for this thing going forward. So those are the dates. If you want to take a screenshot, the Bike GP Series 2023. These are our 5 dates. Hopefully we get a lot of people on board, and hopefully you guys like the series. And then next year, we'll move to a longer and more robust schedule. But we got to start somewhere. So we're starting with these 5 dates: June 17th, July 15th, July 29th, August 12th, and September 2nd. Once again, that is not a GNCC weekend. That is not a National Enduro weekend. And it is one Mid-East Hare Scramble weekend. And, yeah, there you have it. So, yeah. Already talked to some sponsors, got some cool people coming on board. Can't wait to announce that and let you know all the details of that. Still actively looking for sponsors. I know we're late to the game, late November, but I hope some more people can see this this vision that we got for what we plan to do with this race series, and I hope some people can get on board. And, yeah, it's going to be an exciting time. Now, with all of that being said, we're 31 minutes into the show. We mentioned that this is going to be a rider. What did I say? Is a rider, not rider focused, advocate, riders advocate series. And that is going to bring me into this next topic that we have here. Last week, we talked about silly season. We talked about everything that is with the changing of teams for the 2023 season. We talked about who's going where. Who's getting off of what bike and going to another bike? These are guys that are at the top of the sport. These are guys that are in the middle of the sport. And these are guys that are up and coming in the XC2 classes and into the XC1 classes. There's a lot of silly season stuff that went on. We let you know about it. Now, I'll preface this with a few different things. One, when we talked about silly season and we gave out all the details of what was happening, it was not the first time that we did that. We've done that every year. Every year we have announced whatever we hear. So if we hear some stuff through the grapevine, we try to be forefront with that, because that was the whole goal of the podcast, to bring more spotlights to what is going on, to talk about what is going on, to put that in front of people on what is going on. This all being said because I got a few messages after last week's show. A couple of them were upset riders. A couple of them were upset team members. And a couple of them are just random people that want to feel like they're accomplishing something by yelling at someone over the internet. That being said, I just wanted to address this. I wanted to talk about this because last week was November, 7 days less than whatever it is now. 8th? I can't do math. I don't think that's right. And someone's yelling at me again, Rivers Morris. Whatever the date was last week, there wasn't any racing going on. There wasn't any racing going on the following weekend. So when you sit back and think about it, a few of the things I was confronted with was taking away the announcements from other people or spilling all the news where they don't have anything fun to announce. You still get the announcement. You still get everything that comes with making the announcement. But on a random Tuesday in November, there is no reason to talk about racing. Everyone is mad that the sun is setting at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Everyone is mad that it's getting cold outside. Everyone is mad that there's leaves in their yard. Everyone is mad that they're selling their bike from this season to get ready for another bike for next season. Everyone's mad that there's no race to go to next weekend. What does all this equate to? All of this equates to the fact that nobody is thinking about racing. Nobody is thinking about these riders. Nobody is thinking about what is going on in this sport in a random Tuesday in November if no one is talking about it. So, a few things. One, this little podcast that has grown into whatever it is and downloaded wherever it's at and downloaded however many times it's downloaded, the whole point is to bring a spotlight to the sport, to put eyeballs on the sport, to put... Right now, we talked about this. If Target came in and wanted to sponsor this race series or wanted to sponsor any rider at the top level, they would say, what do we get for our investment? What do we get for giving you all of this money? And right now, what do they get? What is their return on investment? An Instagram post to 20,000 people? 1 out of 847 race series that has a live broadcast that you get to see them for a fraction of a second at, that if they're not in the XC1 Pro class, their name never gets said. Their name never gets on TV. Their logo on the bike that they're paying for never even makes an appearance. And even if it is one of the XC1 guys, it makes a 3-minute appearance in a 3-hour race. What do they get? Someone signs up with the NFL, the NBA, the WNBA, the MLB, professional bowling, professional bull riding, ping pong on ESPN, the spelling bee on ESPN. What do they get? They get a live national broadcast. They get to see the event happening. They get introductions on TV. You look at downhill mountain bikers. They got 300,000 Instagram followers. I think there's 2 people. I think there's 1 person that races GNCC that has over 100,000 followers. So what do they get for this? How do these contracts get bigger if none of these companies have a reason to invest in the sport? That is where this podcast comes in, and it's such a small scale. And I'm not sitting here trying to toot my own horn. All I'm doing is trying to explain myself and where I come from. This is the step to marketing. This is the step to getting it out. Before I started the show, there was no place to listen to a GNCC rider talk. There was no place to listen to stuff during the week for the off season or in the middle of the season. There was no place to hear about the news of what was going on. There was nobody letting you know what was going on in the country in different race series. There was nobody breaking down points, breaking down storylines, breaking down penalties, breaking down anything. And now, this stupid little podcast is getting downloaded 25,000 times a month. That's not a lot when you look at every other sport, but that's 25,000. Every one of these podcasts is at least an hour. Most of them are an hour and a half, 2 hours. So that 25,000 downloads is 25,000 hours of content talking about this sport. It's 25,000 hours of people listening to this sport. It's 25,000 hours a month of potential sponsorship opportunity from somebody getting involved in the sport. It's more exposure. It's more of this stuff. So as these contracts are getting signed, they're not getting any bigger because there's no reason to. That is the whole point of this thing. That is the point, to get people talking, to get exposure to the sport, to get eyeballs to the sport, to grow this sport into what it could and should be. Look at all these other sports, how they've grown. This is one of the most physically demanding sports on earth. This is one of the highest risk a professional athlete can put their body through. And that's not only why I started the podcast, but these are the driving factors for starting this race series. We're going to do things differently. We're going to bring more exposure. We're going to give back to the riders. And if we get to the point where we're given an astronomical amount for people to win these races, then why are they going to go to other race series? That's my goal. That's been my goal from the beginning. I don't think I've ever been mischievous about it. I don't think I've ever been dishonest about it. My goal from the beginning, you can listen to the very first episode. I said my goal is to get more eyeballs on this sport, to get the same attention that motocross and supercross gets, which in turn gets more eyeballs, which in turn gets more money for the riders. That has been my goal from the beginning of this. So, for the people that are upset that we announced Stu's going to be riding a KTM, that Ben Nilko is going to be riding a KTM, that Liam Draper is going to be on a Yamaha, that Ricky Russell is going to be on a Yamaha, that Johnny Gerard is going to be on a KTM, that Michael Kelsey is going to be on a Honda. That Grant Baylor is going to be on a Kawasaki. For anyone that is upset about any of that, for Zach Osborne to bring attention to this sport, to be riding a Yamaha in the XC2 class, if anybody got mad at that, then you're looking at it for the wrong reasons. I'm not doing it just to say, ha, 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 I know all this news. I'm doing it because it's the off season. I'm doing it because it's creating a buzz. You know how many people are talking about all these team changes and reaching out to these riders and supporting the sport and supporting the teams and supporting the riders? That's why I did it. And it's one of those things that this is kind of building a community and letting people think that, or showing people that they can have a bigger involvement in the sport. Before that, there's nothing. Everything's a big secret. There's no buzz. There's no anything. Like, even a lot of riders' social media is all we get is a race report with 8,000 companies tagged on it after every single race. And then you get to the off season and you don't even get that because there's no races. So we don't hear from riders. Riders aren't in our faces. Any of that. Like, you don't hear what's going on. You don't see it. It's out of sight, out of mind. We forget that the sport exists in November, and then in February we get stoked to see it again. This is where that gap gets filled. This is where the sport grows. The people that are listening to a podcast in someone's spare bedroom about dirt bikes, those are the people buying products. Those are the people showing up at races. Those are the people that are helping grow this sport. And that's the market that we're trying to tap into. And we're trying to keep this ball rolling. We're trying to make this thing bigger. So if you got upset about anything that I said, as much as I would like to apologize, and I actually had this planned out to apologize about it, I'm not going to apologize because it's buzz, it's publicity, it's marketing, it's getting people talking, it's getting everything going, it's giving people something to look forward to, it's giving someone excitement to wait until February, it's giving someone excitement for December 1st when we start seeing all these announcements come out, it's giving someone something to go talk about on their lunch break to their buddy at work, it's giving someone something to talk about on Instagram when they're sending videos of you riding. That was the whole point of this thing. And not only that, you look at any other sport in history, I can't tell you how many videos there are on the internet of a dude that's making millions of dollars that has a whole family playing for an NFL team that finds out they get traded over a tweet. They found out they were traded on a tweet or on the internet before they even found out from their own employer. When you look at someone that gets signed to a football team, when you look at someone that gets traded to a basketball team, when you look at a free agent signing in baseball, when you look at any of this stuff, the details of the contract are on ESPN. The first thing you see is SportsCenter tweeting it out, Adam Schefter tweeting it out, all these insiders tweeting it out. Oh, they signed for 2 years and $232 million, $30 million guaranteed. Oh, these people traded 2 draft picks and a third-round draft pick for this guy, and he's going to be making $7 million a year. It's instantly in your face. The contract's details are completely known. And like I said, people are finding out from the internet that they got traded before they even found out that they were traded. So if you look at every other sport, there's a lot more than just talking about changing some teams on a dirt bike. So at the end of the day, like, I don't know why this thing has always been such a secret for this long, and it probably didn't deserve this big of a rant that I went on about it. But the point is, we're just trying to expand the sport. We're just trying to talk about what's going on. So for everybody that is changing teams this year, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. I'm very happy that you have another year of supporting yourself and your families by riding a dirt bike. I am very excited for you that you signed another contract to go make your mortgage payment off of riding a dirt bike. But there's room for more. There's more meat on that bone, and that is what we're going after. That is what On the Pipe Podcast is searching for. That is what myself, Tyler Shepardson, am searching for. I'm not doing this for me. I'm trying to grow this sport. I'm trying to change the way that people look at it. I'm trying to change the way that it works. We've seen it in such a stagnant level for so long. People in the 90s were making more money doing this than they're making now. The payouts for all these race series haven't changed since the 90s. There's so much room left for expansion on this, and that is why I can sit here and talk about it all day long, and all of this stuff is going to be very hot takes and very good to look back on if I fall on my face and fail with this Bite GP series. People are going to go back to these conversations. People are going to go back to this rant that I put on tonight. People are going to go back to all these conversations that Stu Baylor and I had over this past year, and they're going to laugh in my face, and they're going to put me down, and they're going to talk a bunch of shit. But at the end of the day, at least I can say I tried. At least I can say that not only did I talk about this stuff and recognize this stuff, but I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I'm going after this thing, and I'm going to try. I'm going to try my best. I may fall flat on my face, but you know what? If I do, construction's still there. They still need a safety guy, and I'll go back to work next January. But in the meantime, I'm going to try to do something about this. I mean, like I said, people are upset with me about talking about who they're riding for next year in November of 2021. Hopefully in November of 2022, people are going to be talking about how much money we were able to put in their pockets, how many people saw them race their dirt bike, how much fun this brand new format, brand new series was, how much we're paying out for this. The C-Class guys are going to be talking about how they won a free rider entry, a free gate entry for the rest of the year, a free race entry to the next race. They won a set of tires. They won a pair of goggles. They won a brand new pipe. Or don't come to my series. Go to your local series, hand them your money. Go to your national series, hand them your money, and get your plaque. Take it home, put it in the box with the rest of them, and then be eager and excited to drive 12 hours to go back and give them more money at your next one. I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to talk about it, but it goes back to this whole thing. Like, once again, here's my disclaimer. GNCC is the best out there. I said it earlier. Contracts get signed for GNCC. GNCC is the cream of the crop. GNCC is the pinnacle of off-road racing, not only on the East Coast, not only in America, not only in North America, in the world. It does not get better than GNCC. They have put together the longest series. They have the most prestige of any series. They have the most well-ran series. They have their own broadcast team. They have a bunch of full-time employees. They own professional motocross. They own Loretta Lynn's amateur motocross. They own Ricky Carmichael supercross. They own ATV MX. They own Racer X magazine. They own GNCC. They used to own WMX. They are it. They are the pinnacle of it. Everything that happens to do with two wheels, they're involved in. At their last race, their season finale, they had 2,751 riders. That is $193,070. I heard from another very reliable source that they had 12,000 people through the gates at Ironman Raceway in Crawfordsville, Indiana. That is $360,000. 2,751 racers, 12,000 people through the gate. That is $553,070. Ricky Russell won that race, if I'm not mistaken, and he took home a check for $1,250. Ricky Russell was the fastest rider out of 2,751. I'm going to feel so stupid if he did not win that race. This is going to be probably the worst blemish in the history of the show. If he did not win this race. Ricky Russell, he won. All right, I'm good. So, Ricky Russell was the fastest rider out of 2,751 riders. And of the $553,000 generated, he took home a check for his efforts of $1,250 riders. Ricky Russell almost lost his life last year when he cut the femoral artery in his thigh. Ricky Russell was hurt this year. Ricky Russell made it through the season to make it to the last round, where we saw broken necks, broken pelvises, broken hips, broken legs, broken arms. That's all just 1 year. And for your efforts, $1,250. So that is where I'm coming from. And that's the pinnacle of it. I hope that someone can calculate my numbers afterwards and be doing the exact opposite of this. I want you to calculate my entry fees and my riders and my results, and I want you to say, how did Tyler even do that? Did Tyler even make any money? Did he eat McDonald's on the way home? That's my goal. So it's easy to talk about it. Now we got to be about it. So I hope I can have your guys' support. I hope any of the stuff that I said made sense. At this point, I don't know if any of it made sense, but I hope it made sense. I hope that the points that I'm trying to get across are getting across. I mean, look at National Enduro. It's the same exact way. The guys that run National Enduro, they show up on Wednesday and they're waiting for the last person to finish on Sunday so they can roll out. Same thing. I think they pay $1,000 to the overall winner. When they sell out for 600 spots in no time flat. I don't know. On one hand, you can start a series and you can get all these people and you can pay these small amounts and you can take home a big check and it's going to do really well for you, but where does it get everybody else that's risking their life for our entertainment? I don't know. I've said the same thing a million times. I'm sorry to get on a rant. I'm sorry if everything I said made zero sense at all. I'm sorry if anything I've said on the show has ever upset you. Just know that I'm doing it for what I think are honest intentions, good reasons. If you see it differently than that, I would love to speak with you. I would love to know how you see it. I'd love to know what I can do differently. Like I said, it's just a passion project for me. I think there's room there, and I've became such good friends with so many of these pro riders, with so many of these people that make a living riding these dirt bikes, and it makes me want it that much more to see this change, to see more exposure on the sport, to see bigger money come into it. But first, we got to give people a reason. And, the Bite GP Series coming to a state near you sometime in the near future in 2023. Starting things off Father's Day weekend, 2023, June 17th. We're going to be racing on July 15th, July 29th, August 12th, September 2nd. And we got one more thing up our sleeve that is going to be coming out before all of that. So stay tuned for those details. We will give you locations as we come up on get closer to the time. We're starting late in the season. Another big reason for that, if someone gets hurt at the beginning of the season, they have time to heal up, rest up, and come back and compete for a championship because we don't start till June. So that is another reason for waiting till the summer to get started. So hope to see you out at a Bite GP series in 2023. Matter of fact, I hope to see you out at 5 of them. And I hope you try to win your class so you can say that you are the best in the East, because we're going to try to get the best competition out there for you to be able to claim that title of best in the East at the Bite GP series in 2023. I am very sorry for my rants. I am very sorry that I put you all through that, but I am very thankful that you decided today to listen to On the Pipe podcast, and out some practice tracks in the meantime too. So thank you all for listening. Thank you all for joining in. I'm Tyler Shepardson. We'll see you next week.